So good, so good, so good.
Everything you want for summer is at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and up to 60% off. Stock up and save on the brands you love like Vince, Sam Edelman, Frame, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
You said this place was steps from the water.
We just haven't found the steps yet.
How much did we save?
Enough.
Enough to get lost?
Or you could book a stay with Hilton.
Welcome to your oceanfront room, just steps from the water.
The Hilton sale is on now. Book on Hilton.com or the Hilton app and save up to 20% to get the stay you expected. When you want savings, not surprises, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
Most people quit at exactly the wrong moment. Not because they ran out of talent, and not because the goal was impossible, but because nobody ever told them that the gap was supposed to feel like this. And today, we're going to fix that. Welcome back to Speaking with Confidence, the podcast that helps you build the soft skills that lead to real results. Communication, storytelling, public speaking, and showing up with confidence in every conversation that counts. I'm Tim Newman, a recovering college professor turned communication coach, and I'm thrilled to guide you on your journey to becoming a powerful communicator. All right, here's what I want you to sit with today. Grit is not a personality trait. It's not something you either have or don't have. Grit is a decision. A specific decision made in a specific moment. The 30 seconds right after you feel like quitting. And most people never get taught how to make that decision well. So today, I'm giving you two frameworks that actually work when the pressure is on. The first comes from Valerie Burton, and it rewires how your brain interprets setbacks. The second is the next play mentality, which is a tool you reach for when every instinct in your body is telling you to stop. So let's get into it. Remember, talent gets you in the door. Grit is what keeps you in the room when the work is boring and the progress stalls. I call the space between getting excited and actually getting good the grit gap. And it's a graveyard for talented people. Not because they weren't capable, but because they lack the system to handle the struggle. And here's the lie most of us have bought into. If something is truly meant for you, it shouldn't feel this hard. Passion should feel like a smooth highway, right? So any friction must mean you're on the wrong road. And there we have it completely backwards. Friction isn't a warning sign. It's a growth sign. It means you're finally pushing against something that's about to give. The people who actually make it aren't avoiding resistance. They've just stopped being surprised when it shows up. Here's the part that stings a little. Most people don't quit because they're incapable. They quit because they're addicted to the feeling of being competent. And starting something new makes you feel the opposite of competent. So your brain starts writing stories. And you take the exit ramp back to the things you already know how to do. Your addiction to comfort is what defeats you, not your lack of potential. Think about a locker room. You got a guy who's electric on game day. And then you've got the guy who's in the gym at 6 a.m. doing boring drills when nobody's watching. Game day lasts 3 hours. Grit has to live in the other 165 days. So the gap doesn't care if you can show up when things are exciting. It only wants to know if you can show up on a random Tuesday when you're tired and bored. So let's get into it. Rule number 1. It's what I call the internal auditor. Valerie Burton's research revealed something that sounds backwards at first. The most resilient people aren't the relentlessly positive ones. They aren't walking around telling themselves everything is fine while the building's on fire. They're accurate interpreters. They see situations for exactly what they are. No worse, no better, just real. To do that, you have to build what I call the internal auditor. The second you catch yourself thinking, I'm failing, you stop. and you ask yourself one question. What is actually true right now? Not what feels true, and not what your fear is screaming, just the facts. Let's say you bomb a big presentation. Your brain says, you're a terrible speaker. Your career is basically over. That isn't data. That's a panic spiral pretending to be an honest analysis. The internal auditor steps in and says, you stumbled on the opening. 2 slides weren't clear. Now you have something you can actually fix. And you can rewrite an opening. You can clarify a slide. You cannot fix being a terrible speaker because that's not a problem. That's a verdict. And verdicts don't leave any room at all for growth. The reframe that changes everything is this. Tell yourself it's happening for you and not to you. When things happen to you, you're a passive victim waiting for the world to stop being unfair. And when things happen for you, you're a student. Every setback becomes part of the curriculum. That bomb presentation isn't a punishment from the universe. It's a free lesson delivered in a way you'll never forget. Also, watch out for that catastrophic language, such as, I always mess this up, or this is completely ruined. Those aren't thinking words. Those are quitting words. They take one bad moment and stretch it into your entire identity. Here's a practical drill. Next time you feel like giving up, write down the exact excuse your brain is offering. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Then write a counter argument, like a lawyer cross-examining a witness who's lying on the witness stand. If your brain says, you're not good at this, you counter it with, you've been doing it for 3 weeks. Nobody is good that early. Or if your brain says, everyone else is so far ahead, your counter is, you don't know their starting point. You're comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 20. If you can't find the counter on your own, use a shortcut that Valerie Burton swears by. Ask yourself, what would I say to a close friend who came to me with this exact problem? You'd probably tell them you're being too hard on themselves. You'd point out the progress they're choosing to ignore. You'd remind them that struggling is not a character flaw. It's just what learning looks like. The internal auditor isn't about lying to yourself. It's about refusing to let the first draft of your thoughts become the final version of your reality. Rule number 2 is the next play mentality. Have you ever watched an elite point guard turn the ball over in a high-stakes game? He doesn't stand at center court replaying the bad pass. He sprints back on defense because the next play is the only thing he can actually control. And that's the second framework. And the logic behind it is simple. When you fail at something, you don't sit down to analyze it. You execute the very next action. Basketball coaches have drilled this since the beginning of the game. The scoreboard doesn't really care about your feelings. The most dangerous athletes aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones with the shortest memories. High-level sales works the same way. The best closers don't spend hours celebrating a win or mourning a loss. They log the call and dial the next number. A rep who spends 45 minutes dissecting a lost deal is losing the next 2 deals while they're stuck in their head. And there's a biological reason this works. Your mind naturally wants to solve problems. So after a failure, it immediately opens an internal investigation. Whose fault was it? What does this mean for my future? It may feel productive, but it actually isn't. You can't think clearly when your emotions are hot. You're not analyzing data, you're marinating in stress hormones. So here's the rule. After any setback, you get 60 seconds. Feel the pain, be as frustrated as you need to be. Then take one concrete action that moves you forward. One email, one booking, one paragraph, one rep. Whatever it is, that's it. The deep analysis happens later, when you're calm and can actually learn something from it. In the heat of the moment, motion beats meditation every time. Because moving sends a signal to your brain. It says, we're still in the game. And that is the only story that matters when you're trying to survive the gap. So let's bring it home. The grit gap is real. It's that uncomfortable stretch between getting excited and actually getting good. And it will swallow you whole if you don't have a system. System 1 is the internal auditor. Stop the spiral, challenge the verdict, and treat setbacks as data, not as proof that you don't belong. System 2 is a next play mentality. 60 seconds of pain, then one action forward. Motion beats meditation in the moment. The gap doesn't close because you suddenly feel ready. It closes because you decided to actually stay. That's all for today. Remember, we're looking for progress, not perfection. Be sure to visit speakingwithconfidencepodcast.com to get your free ebook, The Top 21 Challenges for Public Speakers and How to Overcome Them. You can also register for the Formula for Public Speaking course. Always remember, your voice has the power to change the world. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.